Indie Beacon Radio with hostess Denise Bryson. Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
Welcome everyone to our show. We always encourage everyone to drop everything and read. Today I have the privilege to be interviewing Tom Madden. He is a blogger. His popular blog is called, can I start over? Thank you. Let me get that right. I don't want to get it wrong. Okay, I'm starting over. Welcome everyone to our show. To our I don't know what's going on today. I done read this 100 times today, so I ought to be able to get it. Anyway, I'm starting over. Okay, it ain't always like it's time. Anyway, welcome everyone to our radio show today. We always encourage everyone to drop everything and read. Today, I am excited to be interviewing Tom Madden, and he is a blogger. His popular blog is called Madden Mischief. And then he is the founder and chairman of Transmedia Group, and he is the author of Spin Man, King of the Condo, yeah. Is there enough Brady and Trump to win in Super Bowl? And his latest book, Love Boat 78. Welcome, Tom, to our show. Thank you for taking the time to interview with us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, I'm an Atlantic City boy. I grew up in seashore town of Atlantic City.
Oh, wow.
And my dad was a very popular violinist there, and so I have a kind of a musical background. And then I went to Philadelphia and went to college there, and Temple University, and then University of Pennsylvania. I got a master's degree there. And I started to work for the Philadelphia Inquirer, which was the paper in the city. It was a great town. It was a newspaper town. The Philadelphia Bulletin and the Philadelphia Inquirer, we fought tooth and nails for the stories. And it was fun. And it was a different time with journalism, and it was journalism that you could hold in your hands and you read a newspaper. Very unusual. So anyway, then I went to, I got a little greedy, and I went into network television. I went to New York. And I don't know, I met the right people, must have said the right things. People liked my journalism background. And I got offered a job at ABC. I was director of public relations at American Broadcasting Companies.
Great.
And I met a lot of movie stars, a lot of TV stars. I promoted a lot of the shows. Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Three's Company.
Wow.
I don't know.
Some of our favorites.
And then I used to write speeches there for Fred Silverman, who was a very popular programmer back in the day. And then when Fred got the job to be the CEO of NBC, he brought me with him. It was astonishing. I was the only person from ABC that he brought with him over to NBC. It's a big move. It's about 3 blocks, on 6th Avenue. When you go from one network to the other, you're only changing a couple of blocks. But anyway, I went to 30 Rock, and I went right up to the mighty 6th floor, which is the powerhouse floor. That's where the CEO is. And then I got my offices there overlooking the skating rink, the Rockefeller Center. It was a wonderful place. And so anyway, I spent a few very interesting years there. And then when I left there, I started my own PR firm, which is Transmedia Group. And we got very lucky. I got the biggest companies in the world as clients. AT&T, which was then the largest company in America, not today, but then.
Then it was, yeah.
And I represented the city of New York.
Oh, wow.
I did publicity for the city of New York. It was one of my clients. And Kellogg's Company and MetLife, and oh boy, I had a lot of good clients. And then my wife at the time, Southern Italian, she hated the winters in Manhattan. So she dragged me kicking and screaming out of Manhattan and brought me to Florida. And that's where I've been ever since. So now we operate out of Boca Raton, Florida. That's where I am right now. And our offices are about 15 minutes from here. And, you know, we serve clients worldwide from our headquarters of Transmedia Group, which is my PR firm. And we've done very well, very successful. It's a little challenging right at the moment with all this pandemic.
And
and we're all working at home, like I'm sure you guys are and everybody else. And we want to get rid of this thing. We're waiting for that vaccine.
We're waiting.
We want to get back to the offices. I miss an office.
Yeah, and people.
It was nice to work in an office. And it's nice to work with a lot of other people around you and have meetings and go to lunch and, you know, all those wonderful things. We don't do that anymore. But anyway, I am a writer when I'm not publicizing. And I don't play golf. That's my problem.
Oh, wow.
You know, and everybody in Florida, they all go play golf. I don't know what to
golf,
do after working hours. So I write.
Well, that's
and I've written a whole bunch of books. And it's therapy and it's fun. And I made a few dollars. Some of the books sold very well. My first book was a memoir called Spin Man. Yeah. It's all about the PR business. And it sold pretty well.
So Tom, tell us a little bit about King of the Condo. What inspired you to write it?
Well, that was a get even book. Because, you know, I was president of a condo in South Florida, and nobody really wanted to assume that position. So it was kind of a vacuum that I filled. I wasn't looking for any glory here. I had investment in this facility and this structure, and I wanted to make sure that at least the lobby looked presentable.
Exactly.
So I found a design firm, a couple of design firms, and I made some contracts to fix this lobby up. So it would look really nice when you walked into the condo, make a good impression, and it's good for property value. When you step into the place, a property, you know, that's the most important moment. So it cost a few dollars, and you know how you raise money in these situations. They're called assessments.
Yes.
Well, people don't like assessments, but I mean, I was the president. I felt it was needed, and I assessed everybody, and they consequently tortured me.
Oh my!
They were not happy with paying assessments, so they put graffiti on my car. They slipped nasty notes under my door at night. I tried to go to the pool. They would harass me, and I finally had to leave that condo. And I decided I want to give them something to remember me by, and I wrote King of the Condo. It's a murder mystery thriller where all the tenants, the owners, are trying to kill the president of the condo. They're trying to get me. And I changed the names a little bit, but they recognized all themselves because I was really making them characters in this novel. You know, like they were trying to hit me, kill me, run me over, and so forth. And it was a very popular book in Florida. People stood in lines waiting to buy this book because, you know, the buzz about it was really fun. And everybody knows what condo life is like. And I made fun of it. And it was therapy for me. It was a release for me. And I got even, and I feel good about it. So I moved to another condo.
That's amazing.
The next, all right, how much time we have? The next book was the book about Trump.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
The title of any book in history, and that is there enough Brady in Trump to win the insuperable bowl? Okay.
Yes.
What am I seeing here? So anyway, that book was a very popular book, and I wrote it all about during election time and so forth. And you have to read it. There's lots of good stories in there, and I'm really giving Trump some advice and some criticism in the book. I told him to get rid of his tweets and all that kind of stuff. And I was talking to Trump through my book as a crisis manager, because our president needs a crisis manager wherever he goes. And I tried to help him with this book, and it was a lot of fun. I try to make it fun to read, and a lot of people say to me it's really a charming book.
Well, I can imagine. I was trying to figure out when it said, does he have enough Brady in him? And I was thinking, Brady. And then I dawned on me, oh, he's talking about Tom Brady and how he pulls those Super Bowls out.
That's it. You know, he was way behind in so many Super Bowls, and he pulled it out. Well, our president, he's going to need another Brady moment if he's going to pull this re-election out. Right now, he is behind. But, you know, he's some character, boy. He really, he really does some surprising things. So don't count him out. Don't count him out.
That's true. He will shock us.
All right. So next,
before we go to the next book, we're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsors. So we'll be right back.
Do you send book sales to a company that takes most of your money? Want to earn more money from your book sales? Do you want a bookstore that supports you? Introducing a new bookstore for indie authors and small press, B4R.store. Earn up to 80% of your book sales and learn how to market yourself. B4R.store. Join us for the 6th Annual Authors Marketing Event in Granbury, Texas on July 23rd to the 25th, 2021, where authors share ideas and learn from the professionals over a 2-day weekend. Receive your book marketing certification from the only organization in the world that has been doing it for 5 years, Authors Marketing Guild, a membership-based organization that supports authors from around the world. Learn more at ame.authorsmarketingguild.com. Sponsored by IndieLector.store, a bookstore that pays authors their fair share.
Hello, I am the author and poet Denise Bryson. I am the author of The Things That Cross My Mind, Love's Reality, both in book and audio form. I am also noted as one of the best poets of 2011. I have 2 new projects coming up. One is the Blinky series, where Blinky tells us all about our coins and our bills for our children. I also have a book coming out called Say Ye. It's quotes from Denise Bryson, just inspirational and that will help you along the way.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
Well, welcome back to our show. We have been having the pleasure to interview Tom Madden, who is the author of Spin Man. He is the author of The King of the Condo. He is also the author of, let me make sure I get this right, because this is one of my favorite titles here about does Trump have enough Tom Brady in him? Let me get it just exactly right, because it seems like a fun book. But it said, is there enough Brady in Trump to win the Super Bowl? And then he also wrote another novel, which we'll get into. It's called Love Boat 78. And so we want to hear about that as well. So tell us, do you have any more information that you want to give us on, is there enough Brady in Trump? Is there any other fun things? Because it seemed like a fun book to read. It got great reviews, I know that.
Well, you know, it's a fun thing. It was an amazing thing because I like everybody else in the country, we all expect Hillary to win. You know, as a matter of fact, my first chapter, I congratulated her for winning, and then all of a sudden, at the last minute, he pulls ahead and he captures the election, which was very much surprising to everybody, every media, everybody.
They were shocked. Yes.
I decided to leave that congratulations to Hillary as the first chapter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just was so ironic. And then I went on to talk about my experiences in PR, giving crisis management to a lot of CEOs who really needed to be they needed guardrails, you know, because they could go off the rails. and cause problems for themselves. And somebody's got to stand up to them and tell them, saying, I don't think that's a good idea, Mr. President. I wouldn't do that, you know. So here's what I would do. And then you can help people walk away from disasters and cliffs. And he has his tendency to walk towards cliffs. But, you know, so anyway, I tried to actually give him some lessons in the chapters of the book. And then I discovered some very interesting things about the book. I even discovered there were a lot of divorces, and I called them Trump divorces, because we have a country that is so polarized and so people on opposite sides, even marriages. The husband is in one party, the wife is in another party, you know, and it causes friction. Well, a friend of mine divorced a very powerful guy in Florida. He was a Democrat. She was a Trump. She loved to go to Mar-a-Lago. She loved to hang around with you know, with the Trump family. And he was a leader in the Democratic Party down here, and it didn't go well with his constituents that he had a wife who was so pro-Trump. Eventually, they had a split. It's a famous split. I called it the you know, the first Trump divorce. And I interviewed her extensively, and I wrote about her and her feelings and how this whole thing happened and how they had to break up. I mean, they were two wonderful people, charming. I loved the both of them, but politics can change relationships. And I've noticed myself in my own family, I got to be careful, because there are very strong feelings on one side or the other. So you got to be careful, because it's.
We do.
Anyway, so that, you know, that book sold a lot, and it did a lot for a lot of people, and I even Trump's followers liked it. I know it got passed around in Mar-a-Lago. I've been to Mar-a-Lago many times. You know, it's right not too far from where we live, and I go there a lot of times for, you know, hanging out. So, and I got some good friends there. So, you know, so it made some impression. So let's move on now to the current book.
Love Boat 78. Let's talk about that.
That is a fascinating book. It's an adventure for me into a whole new planet called internet dating. I lost my wife. She had breast cancer, and you know, I was married to her for 54 years.
Oh my!
And it was devastating to me, and I just had to. I didn't know what to do with, you know, the sorrow and the emptiness in my life. And, you know, you lose somebody that's close to you, boy, it's very destructive.
Hurts.
You know, it hurts. And there was a famous movie some years back called Sleepless in Seattle. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
I do.
And I was sleepless in Boca. And I really didn't know what to do with myself. I was, you know, you live in a relationship so long, and all of a sudden you don't have it anymore. So a couple of friends of mine said to me, "Why don't you try internet dating? Just go out, just meet people. Don't be alone all the time, because you need to be active, and you know, and this is a good way to meet people." And they directed me to a couple of online dating services. One was called Millionaire Match. So I joined Millionaire Match. And it was a very spooky time for me, because I started to get these winks from people from all over.
Oh, no.
So I'm an older guy. I'm in Boca Raton. I own a business. I must be worth $1 billion. So I'm getting a lot of attention, and I'm hearing from women all over the world. I mean, it was amazing. I'm hearing from women in Australia and China, all these places. They want to fly in and go out with me. I just couldn't believe it. So I'm starting to meet a lot of interesting people. Getting all these winks, getting, you know, hearing about them and what they're looking for in a man, and they kind of interested in me and so forth. And I dated a few of them, and we went out and so forth. These were interesting adventures. Some of them were really loonies. Others were obviously looking for a target like me,
Yes, right.
And it's not romantic. It was more business.
Right.
It's like,
let's see what I can get out of it.
yeah. So anyway, so I had all those experiences, and met a lot of women. I talk about a lot of these relationships, and some of them are funny. And and I'm in the course of this, and then I walk into a neighborhood bar, and I see this beautiful blonde at the other side of the bar, and I toasted to her. She toasted back.
Uh-huh.
And I just couldn't resist walking over to her and introducing myself. And I wound up marrying her.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's amazing.
I didn't meet her online. I met her the old-fashioned way in the bar. And Rita is from Brazil. She is a fascinating woman, intelligent, beautiful, and we really fell in love, and I'm so happy now. It's taken me out of Seattle. Great. I'm out of Seattle now.
You're out of Seattle. You're not anymore.
So I'm now happy. Now I write about it, and all these adventures and how it leads. And it's so interesting in life that the things that are right nearby, you don't have to go hunting all over the world
to find
you can find someone so close by. And it turned out to be just wonderful. So we got married right on the balcony here in my condo and on the ocean.
Amazing.
And I'm just crazy about her. Yeah, it's a great story. It's a love story. And and it's available. It's not in books. It's in a few bookstores, but it's mostly available on Amazon. Love Boat 78. Love Boat 78. And a lot of people are giving me some nice reviews, and they're enjoying reading it. And
you got some really nice reviews. I'm gonna have to recommend that to my friends. I have a lot of friends that are, they're in their 60s in that age bracket, and they still have the hope of falling in love. So that would be an amazing story for them to read. So I have to really recommend that for them to read, because I've tried online dating too, and I always ask this question: is this for comedic purposes? Because I do a little comedy on the side. And so some of the people I've met, it's been really a comical experience. And I'm thinking, oh, this must be something for me to bring up in my comedy time when I do comedy.
But these are dangerous waters. You dive into internet dating, it can be dangerous sometimes, because there are a lot of people out there. They want to go out. They want people to spend a lot of money on them and so forth, but they're not looking for relationships. They're looking for, good time and so forth. Some women are notorious for, like, when the dinner is over at a fancy restaurant, they say they excuse themselves to go to the restroom, and they never come back.
Oh, they never come back.
So there's all kinds of stories like that, and you got to be careful in that area, because some are sincere and some are really just out to nail you. So I had a woman who
well, we could wait a minute. Let us come back. We got to take another short break and talk to our sponsors, and then we'll pick up from there, and then we'll talk about what's next for you. But we'll be right back. We're going to hear from our wonderful sponsors.
World War II, the Holocaust, and a mysterious package arrives in New York from Germany 40 years after the war, involving 3 families across the oceans. Mystery, intrigue, and correcting the most heinous of wrongs. This is just part of the story Michael Newman tells in his book, Between These Walls. Available in Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or at indielector.store. Buy it today and enjoy this thriller of a novel. Authors Marketing Guild is a membership-owned organization designed to help authors succeed and learn how to better market and sell themselves and their books. Join us at authorsmarketingguild.com and receive so many benefits you'll wonder why you didn't join sooner. That's authorsmarketingguild.com.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
Hello and welcome back to our radio show. We have had the pleasure, it's been a pleasure of interviewing Tom Madden. It's been such a great time. I've enjoyed myself this whole time. But he is the author of Spin Man, which is kind of a memoir for him. And then it is King of the Condo. You want to hear that? You want to get that book and read that. That is hilarious when he was talking to us about it. And then one of the ones I was really interested in was, is there enough Brady in Trump to win the Super Bowl? And then, of course, his latest novel, which is Love Boat 78. And we all should get a copy of that, especially all of us that are still looking for love. So, Tom, let us finish what you were talking about, and then we want to know what's next for you and those kind of things, where we can find you on social media and where we can purchase your book and all of those wonderful things.
Well, you started when you introduced me, you mentioned my blog. And that's a good place to get to know me. Mm-hmm. I write, the blog is called Madden Mischief. I also write for a number of publications. So you'll see my stuff in various things around New York. And I don't know, compro.biz. I don't know whether you know that, but it's one of the publications that carries a lot of my articles. But my blog, is very current. I'm writing about things that are just happening. For example, when Wolf Blitzer and Speaker of the House had this altercation on air the other night. Did you hear about that on
yeah.
CNN? Well, I wrote about it, and I kind of satirized her a little bit, and he was asking, why don't you just accept this 1.8 trillion? What are you waiting for? The money's on the table. Yeah. And she came back to him and said, you just don't understand what you're talking about, because you're not in the discussions and so forth. And then he said, but all these people in our country, they can't pay their rent. They're waiting in food lines. People don't have work and so forth. It's 1.8 trillion. How can it hurt? Well, why doesn't he accept our proposal? And you could just, well, anyway, I wrote a blog about it, and I kind of satirized her and critical of her. Well, I got some response from that blog, and there's some people who are hurting, and they are on her side. They think that she understands what they're going for or going through. And I can't believe I was actually so impressed with what people were telling me, what they're doing. He's saying, what good if you're suffering like this and they just give you enough money where you have to choose between medicine or food. You don't have enough to cover the whole thing. So, we have people. She said, I'm walking around right now. My husband is disabled, and we're looking around saying, if we have to go live in our car, what are we going to take out of our apartment to go live in our? These are serious cases, and these people are like wanting everything. They want to get out of this hell that they're in, and I felt bad about this. So my next blog is going to be, I'm going to carry this dialogue with some of these people who have been affected by this stimulus stalemate. I call it it's very poignant. Yes. And it struck me, and I've written about it, and I've carried all of the criticism of me, sort of taking the side of Blitzer in that discussion, saying, what's wrong with you, Madam Speaker? Wow. 1.8 trillion. What are you waiting for? Well, she had a lot of people were saying like they want to get out of this totally. They don't want to get half out. They want to get 100% out. And now I understand it a little bit better.
So can you give us, where now are you on? So you're on all social media groups at Transmedia Group. That's where you are on social media.
Yeah, we're on social media. We're on LinkedIn. We're on all the platforms.
Now, what is next for you besides your blog? So you're just going to keep writing your blog?
I'm going to write the blog is absolutely. I have to respond to the current events because I have to have a say in what the hell is happening. And it gives me an outlet. And a lot of people like the blog. I get a lot of good
reviews
thank yous and reviews.
Well, we gotta wrap up for today. I know it goes so fast we get started, but we've been having an awesome conversation. I have enjoyed myself today. And so thank you so much for being a part of our show today. And I'm encouraging all of our avid readers to please go out and buy his books and just be blessed by them. I'm telling you, they sound like they're funny to read. There's some humor in them. There's a lot of good stuff in it. And then go out and visit his blog. And thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Madden. Thank you so much for coming on with us. And we thank
what a
you
pleasure! What a pleasure it is to be interviewed by you. You are wonderful, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you for all our listening audience. And we will see you back here the next time.
Great.
Thank you for listening to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. To learn more about Indie Beacon services, to be a guest on the show, or to advertise on our show, please visit our website.
Indie Beacon Radio with hostess Denise Bryson. Indie Beacon Radio is produced by B. Allen Bourgeois for Authors Marketing Guild LLC, copyright 2020. Voiceover by Randy James, Lydia Bello, and B. Allen Bourgeois. To be a sponsor of the show or for more information, please email us at info@authorsmarketingguild.com. To be interviewed for the show, please complete the form at radio.authorsmarketingguild.com. Music Always Rejoice by Ramcord